Hey there, Virgo Sun, Virgo Moon, Virgo Rising. Welcome to Mercury Retrograde happening in your sign. We're going to take two because it's peeking out there. All right, so Mercury Retrograde, right? It's all the RE words, right? Rest, retreat, relax, review, revive, reorganize, reconstruct. And so you guys actually have the card of retreat, which is fun. Never underestimate the healing power of a quiet moment. And so, especially when Mercury is in your sign and it is doing its retrograde there, you are going to feel everything is very slow and there's a need to pull your energy in and to work with that. Plus, you get a full moon happening in Pisces during this period. And so that energy is going to illuminate. It feels like something really in the way that your day is laid out and organized and how you work with that energy, as far as how much you give to others and how much you should be giving to yourselves. But you also have the card of the wildflower. Live an uncontrolled life, free to grow anywhere and be bound by nothing. And so it's also this card of release, right? Of releasing the control over everything and allowing some freedom in your life. And so part of this reorganizational energy for you may be that you find you want to create space in your life for more of the things that you want to do, and be willing to dispose of some of the things that you don't want to do. So in this video, we're going to take a look today at your opportunities and your challenge, and we're going to interesting. We're going to. I just want to make sure I got that in the right spot. Is that the challenge? It's the opportunity. We're going to shake some stuff up. All right, so, and then I'm going to take a look at, we have exes come back quite often with Mercury in retrograde. This time in particular, it seems interesting because we have Venus in retrograde and Mars is currently in your sign but moves out of your sign, and then moves forward into Libra. And so we have this air feeds fire energy of Venus and Mars, the cosmic lovers, in the area of choice and decision making. And as they shift signs together, and Venus gets into your sign, Virgo, and she's in this earthy, nurturing, wanting to ground things energy. And Mars moves on into Scorpio, which he's at home there. And in Scorpio, Mars is all fired up with passion and everything, this emotional energy that will soften Earth, or it will create, or Earth will create a container for it. And so there feels like there's a lot of choice and decision making around relationships coming up between now and that full moon eclipse that we have in Taurus on October 28th. And so because it all seems to flow in here, we're going to pull a card on, or sometimes two, they come out, on what you can do to, during this retrograde, to reevaluate and to do a little personal review of what you can do to raise your own frequency level in partnership, so that as these choices and decisions are coming up, you are really clear on what your frequency is and what you want to draw and attract into your life. And so we're going to kind of take a look at that energy too. So, the challenge for you is you seem to have a really great idea. You seem to have a really great idea, and partnership is also coming up here. And Virgo, it's like that. It almost feels like, do you have the guts to go for it? And I want to say you should. But let's just get into what Spirit wants. The rest of the cards, I want to pull all the cards so that I have a very clear understanding of the message before I get started here. So Mercury, I don't know if I mentioned this, Mercury went into shadow on August 4th. Stations retrograde on the 23rd, and stations direct on September 15th, and will clear its shadow on October 18th. And so that's right there around that eclipse, new moon eclipse opportunity, and also in your house of finances if you're a Virgo rising, and also the 1010 gateway, which is a big portal that opens up for opportunities. Oh, look, oh my God, what are you guys up to? Oh, okay. Wow. All right. I love this so much. Okay, first off, this retreat. This is an opportunity for you to pull your energy in and to, when we have a really great idea, it's a seed of intention, right? And when you plant a seed of intention, you plant it beneath the soil, right? And so it's out of sight. Like the world can't see the seed. Once you planted it, it's below the surface. And below the surface, it's gathering, it's unfolding out of the seed. It's expanding. It's growing the tender root system. It's receiving the nutrients. It's being nurtured. And Virgo, this is your job, right? You nurture things. And so here, with the superpower that you have this idea. And I know this because we have this little fool, the little seed of intention. Look, it's just a little baby chick there, right? And during this time of retreat, there's this self-reflecting that's going on. But underneath the surface, right, as the swan is gliding across the lake, his little feet are busy moving, right? And so there's a lot of emotional energy going on. There's a lot below the surface, the seed of intention that is below the surface. So you have the mouse spirit, tend to the small things. This is perfect for Mercury in retrograde. I don't care what sign you are, okay? But especially when we're talking about strategy and detail-oriented reorganization of things, energy of Virgo. And we have this happening. I'm sorry, they're doing construction out there. They're tearing up the pavement to put down new pavement, which is kind of like this energy anyways. It's like breaking things down in order to bring some things back up, right? And so there's this going beneath the surface. But here, the mice that tend to the small things. Pay attention to the details. Perfect for any Mercury retrograde period. You have the bee. The bee promises sweetness, but it takes time, right? It goes out and gathers the pollen. It is community oriented. It's very organized, right? It goes back. I mean, the little honeycomb, how perfectly organized is a honeycomb. In fact, that's one of the most stable structures that anything can be ever made out of, is that little pentagon all piled up together, creating more, right? And so but it takes time for the pollen to become the honey and for the sweetness to come in. And there's a lot that goes on out of sight, right? We can't see that unless you have one of those special beehives where they have to, you can see it, but mostly you don't get to see it in nature. Like, they have to make that happen. And so this behind the surface, but it's about staying busy. It's about doing the work. And so this is challenging when you've got this retreating and you've got Mercury in your sign slowing everything down. And it's helpful right now because Mars is still there through the 28th, but that's Monday. And I don't know when you guys are going to see this, but you'll see it before then. And so there's this energy here of try to get as much done as you can right now to lay some foundation and lay some groundwork. Also, this retreat card, I want to say, if your relationship with your significant other could use some time, this is a great time to do it. This is a great time to do it. This retreat and this wildflower together is almost as like go away on an unstructured vacation. Like, we're just going to go to the beach, or we're going to go over to the mountains where we can maybe hike a little. Especially in this weather, you might want to get to someplace a little bit cooler, but we aren't going to have any plans for the day. We're not going to go to on an organized expedition thing, blah, blah, blah. And honestly, with Mercury in retrograde, you don't want to have anything that has to be all time oriented. Make it free flowing. Make it free flowing, but there's a need to reconnect. We have the fox spirit. The fox spirit is definitely strategy. But in this deck, she talks about how it's about the connecting with your partner for life energy. And so there's this need to reconnect, right? The RE, exes come back, but also it's a time to reestablish, reconnect, renew, your energetic connection and bond with your partner at this time. And especially with, again, Mars and Venus doing their little dance there in the sky. And you have here the Dragon's Duel. Okay, I love the Dragon's Duel. The Dragon's Duel basically says where you put your energy, that's what's going to grow, right? So if you want to bring in the good things in life, you focus on those things. If you're always, I'm like, my life is miserable, nothing ever works, and that's what you focus on, then you get more of the same. So which dragon do you want to feed? The one of optimism, the one of joy, the one of happiness. If you feel like your relationship could use some TLC, if you focus on that right now and you feed that dragon, then you're going to raise that vibrational energy. And so it's tending to the small things. It's paying attention, right? It's the, your partner takes out the garbage, something you ain't doing, you say thank you, your partner makes the coffee in the morning and when you get up it's already there, thank you, whatever it is, right? Whatever, it's the small things that really show we care. And so when we recognize that, we all feel appreciated, right? It's just like a job. And this could also translate to work. When I used to teach people about, I used to work with training managers on how to hire and train employees for a company I worked for. And one of the things I would always tell them is, hey, people will take a job for money, but they stay because they feel appreciated. So say thank you. Recognize successes. Recognize effort, even if it doesn't turn out to be a success. This is really, and especially when we're talking to Virgo, I think that this is also for yourself, right? Like, nobody is harder on themselves than a Virgo. Oh my gosh. And sometimes when Virgo is tired, then they also can spill that out into other people's lives, and it can make for some uncomfortable moments. So this is there's a process. Kenneth, I can't think of his name. He wrote the book, The 1 Minute Manager, and one of the things he talked about was catching people doing something right. So catching your children, catching your spouse, your significant other, your employees, your coworkers, and most importantly, yourself doing things right. Pay attention to the details. All right, so you have this great idea that needs to be nurtured, and the challenge is giving it the nurture that it needs, and also giving it the safety and the security of not going out there and telling everybody about it just yet. There's some little seed of intention that really needs you to keep it under wraps and keep it covered, okay? But here's your opportunity. I love the opportunity. So you have the tower that came in, and I was like, crap. But you also have the electric eel. So this big bolt of lightning coming onto this tree with this electric eel, right? And the electric eel says, bring your ideas to life. It's going to shake some stuff up. You're going to make some kind of, this little seed, when it grows, it's going to uproot some kind of a situation. It's going to create something new, but this is a rare opportunity. Because look, here we have like the little baby chick, right? And then here we have the swan who's doing the self-reflecting. But here's the opportunity. We have a black swan, the King of Cups. This is emotionally stable and balanced, but it's also rare. It's rare. You have a rare opportunity, and it comes with the owl. This owl is full of wisdom, and it uses its intuition. It sees what others don't see. There's this undercover stealthiness to it. You see the rare opportunity. So whether this is a rare opportunity about investing or a rare opportunity about a relationship, I feel like the relationship just needs your time and attention. I feel like this is more like around some idea that you have that can really grow some financial abundance for you. But it's new and it's different and it's unusual. It's a little out of the box thinking, which is great, right? Because all that organizational energy you have, just imagine if you were to say, I can organize anything, even if it's not in a box. I can restructure, I can reconstruct, I can redo, I can reinvent. I can do all of these things using my intuition, trusting that I know things. I feel like you already know what you need to know. You have this idea. And so what's also interesting, and it's happening in your sign and it trines your sign, is that on the 28th, when Mars is exiting your sign and moving into Libra, Uranus stations retrograde. Uranus is over in Taurus. And Uranus is at 23 degrees, and he's going to back up, I forget, to like 19 or whatever. A year and a half from now, when that new moon that we just had in Leo becomes a full moon, Uranus is back to 23 degrees and just like 20 minutes more than where it's at right now. So that means there's a little bit of this great idea, and it may take about a year and a half to bring it forward. Being meticulous and paying attention to the details, but you can see it. You know how when the lightning cracks through the sky and it illuminates everything for just a brief moment? You see something. There is something, and this is your opportunity. But I think you need to get quiet. I think you need to shut down some of the noise. I think you need to pay attention to the small details that's going on in your life and allow yourself to be inspired by what is happening. So you have here the River Queen, flow, letting go, natural movement, right? This is being in flow. The swan, being in flow. And this electric eel, by the way, is in water, right? And so there is a flow of energy. There are two planets that are all about communication, Mercury and Uranus. Uranus is trining your sign, and there's this electrifying moment, this energy that is just coming in. And if you will just pay attention, you'll see something in the download, the insight. So pay attention to the little seeds of intention that seem really weird, like, oh, I don't know. And you know, this little bird is sitting here on the branch. It's really hard to see, but he's sitting on a branch. He can fly. He just doesn't know it yet. He just doesn't know it yet. And so it is going to be a leap of faith. So you have the porcupine. It says time for beginner's mind. It's about seeing something in a different way, seeing how you can reconfigure something, how you can do it, just see it from a little bit of a different angle in order to bring in something really great. And you have the web weaver. And the web weaver is about synchronicity, about how everything plays together. And so there's something that sparks up. There's something that you see, and it might actually be following that thread, right? That idea, you see something, and then you start following the thread down, and you're like, oh my God. There it is. There's that great idea. So you have synchronicity, divine intelligence, cause and effect. Pay attention to the details. Follow the threads. Be willing to go a little bit down the rabbit hole. I think that it pays out for you in the long run. And as far as relationships go, I'm going to go ahead and pull a card on that. But I think this is about you, if you're currently coupled, reconnecting. Taking this time to really reconnect. But let's see what else Spirit wants to bring in with that. Also, I just heard recommit. So if you've been, if you were like promising, oh God, I love that you got that. If you were promising to oh, well, you know what, we're always going to go for a walk when I get home from work, and you kind of let that slacker slide, and you're not making that daily time together. You know, you haven't really, or we were going to have a date night once a week, and then things came up. And let me just say, when you have a date night, put your freaking phones away. Put your phones away. It is a time for you to reconnect with one another. And for an hour, you can put your phone down and have a conversation. You really need to reconnect. And so even if you've been showing up for the date nights, are you focusing on one another? Where you focus your intention, what are you feeding? Right? Are you feeding the outside world by not letting go of your phone, or are you feeding the intimate relationship that you have with your partner that really matters to you? All right. Just say. All right, here we go. You have 3 cards, so relationship stuff is great. You have the abundance, you have the divine masculine, which by the way is in his power, because we have one in here that isn't, and we have spiritual maturity. So I mean, I feel like you guys are in a really nice cycle. You're in a really nice cycle. You've got even though Saturn's in retrograde and it's opposing your sign, it's also about reevaluating where you give your time and your energy, and so how you want to restructure your life. So use your existing abundance to create beautiful things in your life, and you will be rewarded in more ways than you can imagine. Loving and being loved will definitely make you feel more abundant. If you're longing to meet your soulmate, it is your willingness to appreciate, acknowledge, and accept yourself that allows you to feel more abundant and will help you to manifest a partner. In a relationship, your abundance of health, friendships, and mindset will bring joy to your partnership as well as more love. Naturally, you are right to create a healthy level of material abundance too. There is nothing wrong with being comfortable so long as you keep your pursuit of the material to the perspective. In perspective. Consider whether you want to discuss your salary and bank balance on a first date or if you'd rather talk about the wonderful hobbies, friends, and attitudes that make your life rich. Do you want a relationship to focus primarily on money or on property? Or would you like the focus to be fun, intimacy, and mutual support? Remember, to be abundant in the full sense of the word means to be fascinating, lovable, creative, and resourceful. I love that for you so much. The Divine Masculine. The Divine Masculine says, when harnessed in a healthy way, the Divine Masculine creates structure for the benefit of all that it touches. I want to remind you that inside of each person, there is feminine energy and there is masculine energy, right? And if you look at these dragons, you can look at it this way. The masculine is above and he's creating, and I don't mean he's above the female, but he's above the horizon. He's in the public specter. It's where the actions that you take, but below the surface, the open, receptive energy, the nurturing energy, that's the female. And together, it's almost like this infinity symbol, the 8. You're both things, and they need to flow and work together in order to be whole and complete in a way that is healthy, that attracts healthy relationships into your life. The Divine Masculine can move mountains, yet be incredibly subtle at the same time. He needs to return to the feminine focus regularly to replenish himself, which in the past was regarded as a weakness, leading to this distorted approach of attempting to dominate or control the feminine. Yet when he looks around him, he sees that the feminine is available to him in unlimited abundance and he is free. You have drawn this card today because your masculine energy needs to create or achieve something to bring a project through to its fulfilling conclusion. Oh my God, for the good of all, and to let go of an idea that you're weak because you need nurturing, the nurturing support of the feminine. Look at the things that need to be done in your life. Look to where you are too hard on yourself or excessively independent, and give your divine masculine permission to work his magic in his own way. You know what? I think that you raise your vibration by taking a risk on this really great idea that you have. I think that first off, it makes you interesting when you're doing something new. When we're interested and passionate about something, we're more interesting to be around, right? And so there's that. I love that. Oh my God. And then spiritual maturity. Spiritual maturity. I'm not going to read that one because this video is starting to go long, but spiritual maturity basically says this. That conversation that you have with your significant other or potential, ask. So how do you feel about spirituality? What are your values? What do you believe in? And have the conversations. Because if we are not connected on the same level, if we're not doing that, then we have a really hard time evolving a relationship that grows to a new level. So I'm going to share with you the story because somebody else just got this. Leo, I think, but it's not about Leo. There was somebody I know whose husband had a sudden awakening download. He had a thing happen, and it was like, whoa. And so he started like really investigating his spirituality and what it meant to him. And she said, I had to make a decision. I looked at him and I thought, either he's crazy or I'm going down the rabbit hole with him. And she said, I loved him so much, I decided to go down the rabbit hole. And she goes, our relationship has never been stronger. And so that connection on a spiritual level is a basis. It is a strong thread of connection in a relationship. And it's really hard to have a relationship that's strong and healthy with anyone if there's not shared values. And one of those values should be what you believe in, right? Your faith, that's what a value is, right? Do you value? And so I think getting very clear on what you believe and having the conversation where we listen and we see if there's common ground, and where that common ground is, and can we grow in it? And so spiritual maturity is about not making yourself smaller. It's about actively actively having those conversations so that you guys are growing together, and that you see things the same way, right? Birds of a feather. All right, guys, I love your reading. Best reading I've done so far. I'm super excited for you. It's your Mercury retrograde anyway. I think this is, Mercury retrograde, people get all freaked out about it. And yes, you're going to have to double check time and travel and, pay attention to the detail. And honestly, with Mars still in Mercury, I think we should definitely be paying attention to traffic when we're driving. But it is such an opportune time for all of us because of the other planets and where they're placed, particularly for you, Virgo. You have a great idea. It just needs you to be willing to chase it down. I love it. All right, you guys take good care. I'm on Facebook every day. You can catch up with me there. If you want a personal reading, I do those. That information is in the description box below. And I hope to see you again soon. Thanks for hitting the thumbs up and supporting this channel and leaving comments. I love that so much. I'll talk to you again soon.